6 men rode in a canyon. Or should that be 8? I forget. Oh yes, it was 8. 8 men rode in a canyon. I dug 7 graves. That, of course, is a quote from the movie The Lone Ranger, which I have the ticket for right here. Again, with the new channel, I have to do a lot of movie reviews, stuff like that. I do movie reviews and cooking. I haven't done cooking yet, surprisingly. Of course, it hasn't hit Wednesday yet, so here it goes. I will also have a new movie review on Wednesday as well as the cooking video. By doing this review as such, I have to have the proper attire, mask, and such. You know, I personally think Lone Ranger wasn't that bad. I personally thought it was really good. I thought it had a pretty relevant story to it, and the only problem I have with it, it's too long. It's as long as The Dark Knight. That's the only problem I have with it, really. It's long. They could have at least cut a few scenes out just to make it a little shorter, give us some time to breathe. I mean, it did just slightly, but it's like, okay, we get it. Just let us breathe for a little bit. Now, my first impression of the Lone Ranger, I knew who the Lone Ranger was. I know what the show is. I've seen a lot of stuff about the Lone Ranger. I saw the old 1980s movie, The Legend of the Lone Ranger, yada yada, and that was good. The only thing that really gets me into, like, the big thing that gets me into the Lone Ranger is that theme song, the William Tell Overture. Well, let me play the theme. Hold on. Oh, man. Yeah, every time I hear this theme, I just turn into a little kid inside. I mean, every person would turn into a little kid inside if they heard this song. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just like huge. Commercials, really? I tell you, every time I hear that, I turn into a little kid inside. I'm 16, and I turn into a tiny little baby kid. This movie had me going throughout that in the last 10-15 minutes of the movie. It was action-filled, and I loved it. Alright, now let's discuss some of the highlights and bad stuff of the movie. Highlights being story. It is a story that we've heard before, but not told directly like this. It was a lot bigger, it had a lot more action, and it had good actors to support those roles. Johnny Depp as Tonto, I thought it was a good role. You know, it's like, but it seems like I see Johnny Depp as the same character each time. It's like different roles, but it's basically the same character. I don't know. Now when I see him as Tonto, I'm like, that is Tonto. That's cool. But, you know, it's like, okay, I can buy this. I can buy this. And then Armie Hammer as the Lone Ranger. Now, originally the Lone Ranger, before he turns into a ranger, like a deputized ranger of Texas, he is actually a lawyer who's like a pacifist and stuff like that. It gets a little annoying at some scenes. But on with that, later on in the story, his brother dies. when they are trying to track down this one killer. Hilarity ensues throughout some scenes of the movie, but only in certain scenes where it's like most of the hilarity would have to do with Silver, the horse. The horse Silver, the white horse. You know, when the lone... Speaking of which, probably the funniest thing about that movie was just at the very end, right before the credits. I mean, right before, just seconds. And that was where Armie Hammer is on the white horse, and he goes, "Hi-ho, Silver! Away!" And he just stares at Johnny Depp, and is like, Johnny Depp stares right back at him, flips to Johnny Depp, and he says, "Never do that again!" And so, it goes to the credits. I just laughed and laughed and laughed. I mean, I really like this movie. The only problem I really have with it, it's too long. I won't have a full review of this movie yet. I will do a good type of review in a short time, but not today because I'm really tired. I'll get it to you sometime soon. Alright. See you later. And, darn tootin', I'm gonna do a cooking video this week. Stick around this Wednesday for a new review on the Wolverine, and for finally a cooking video for my channel. Please subscribe and become a part of my new army, which is yet to be named. See you later.